You know, we've all heard it a million times. Money is the #1 reason couples break up. But what if that's not the whole truth? What if the real problem isn't the number in your bank account, but the words you're just not saying to each other? Let's pull back the curtain and find out what's really going on.
This right here, this idea, changes everything. It reframes the whole problem, doesn't it? It's not actually about the money itself. It's about the tough conversations we all try to avoid. The real issue isn't a lack of cash, it's a lack of communication.
So if silence is the real enemy, what does that actually look like day to day? Well, the tension might feel like it's about someone spending too much or saving too little, but if you look at the data, it reveals something much, much deeper is at play.
Okay, check this out. While a huge 65% of couples say money is a major source of stress, an even bigger number, a whopping 85%, point to communication issues. And that overlap? That's not a coincidence. That's the whole story. It proves that most of our so-called money problems are really just communication problems in disguise.
And here's why that silence is so toxic. We put off the money talk because, let's be honest, it's uncomfortable, it's awkward. But ducking the conversation doesn't make the problem go away. It's like a pressure cooker. It just lets all those little anxieties and resentments build and build under the surface until, eventually, they have to explode. So, that brings up a big question, right? Why does the communication break down in the first place? A lot of the time, it starts with a silent clash, a huge gap between what we expect financially and our partner's reality.
I mean, think about this classic scenario. You've got partner A who's a super careful saver. Maybe they grew up with a scarcity mindset, so they track every single dollar in a spreadsheet. And then you have partner B who sees money as a tool for joy and experience. They love to spend. Now, neither one of these approaches is wrong. But when these different, unspoken money philosophies collide, they create this constant, low-grade friction in the relationship.
And that friction, sooner or later, it sparks a fire. The saver starts to feel like they're the only responsible one, and the spender feels like they're being judged for every little purchase. Without talking it out, you stop being a team. You just become two people in the same boat rowing in completely opposite directions. But here's the good news. This brings us to the solution. The single most powerful tool you have to close that gap between what you expect and what's really happening. And it all comes down to one word: transparency.
It's a pretty simple equation, but it's incredibly powerful. Transparency builds trust, period. When you can be completely open about your finances, money stops being this secret, shameful thing and starts being a shared tool you can use to build a life together. That honesty, right there, is the foundation of teamwork. And get this isn't just some feel-good idea. The impact is real, and it's measurable. Research shows that couples who sit down and review their finances together on a regular basis are twice as likely to feel secure in their relationship. That one simple habit can turn money from a battleground into a bonding experience. Now let's be really clear about what transparency actually means. This is not about giving up your independence or having to ask for permission to buy a coffee. Not at all. It's about creating a shared understanding of the big picture, the debts, the income, the spending habits, and most importantly, the big dreams you both have for the future. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but where do you even start? How do you actually do it? Let's break it down into 3 really simple, practical steps you can literally start using today. First things first, schedule it. Put a money check-in on the calendar, just like you would for a date night. Keep it low pressure. Second, use neutral language. This is huge. Don't use blame. Instead of saying, "You always overspend," try something like, "I feel anxious when our credit card bill gets this high." See the difference? And third, agree on boundaries. Decide together what money is shared and what's personal. That way, you both still feel like you have some autonomy. So, as we wrap this up, the big takeaway is this. Money problems are almost never solved by just making more money or by trying to control what your partner does. The real solution is so much simpler. It's about talking. It's about replacing that silence with transparency, swapping out judgment for teamwork, and turning fear into trust. And that leaves us with one last question for you to think about. Just take a second and be honest with yourself. What's the one money conversation you've been putting off? Because finally having that conversation might just be the single most valuable investment you ever make in your relationship.